InCycle. Did you know? Private hospitals represent only 13% of the healthcare in Mexico, but not everybody can afford it because the service is really expensive. The worst thing is that some of the times the patients don't get what they pay for, which is a lot. Hospitals invest a lot of money in technology, but very less in human resources. That's why workers like nurses earn 4,500 pesos. However, they love their job and they do it with passion every day. This is why we chose nurses of private hospitals as our use. They spend 8 hours a day taking care of the patient. The patients depend on them. They play a big role in caring and they have a huge responsibility. Everything goes from her, to her, and through her. We went to different private hospitals to see nurses working. We observed that they had to fill a lot of paper. They get lots of complaints of the patient, the relatives, the doctor, the administration, everyone. The space they have to eat and rest, if they have one at all, it's really bad. And they're always on the run, and because of all things, they're not in the best of the moods. We also did some interviews to nurses. At the beginning, they did complain about their job, but after digging around a little, they finally told us that there's absolutely no teamwork. It's really hard to work with women. They don't get the information right either from the doctor or the nurses. Sometimes they don't know what they do because nobody told them. They forget to charge the patient medications and they have to pay for it later. The patients are very demanding and there's absolutely no communication. So the main problem, it's a huge communication problem. Everyone is supposed to be communicating with everyone through the nurse, but there's no communication at all. This communication issue plus a lack of an adequate space brings up the emotional issue, which makes their beloved work so hard. What we needed was to give the nurse a tool, an adequate space in which she can feel more comfortable and do better at her job. Because for someone to give care, she has to be taken care of. The main proposal is to improve communication between everyone and merge all the tasks in order to improve the logistics of the hospital and save time. The secondary is to use the available space, which is really small, and adequate it so they can feel more comfortable and they have a better job quality. Our solution is the InCycle communication system. This system involves 3 parts: in-network, in-hand, and in-space. This system will allow nurses and doctors to look at patients' information in a much easier way. In-network, it's all about information. This information can be accessed in a secure way by nurses and doctors anytime, anywhere, just a few steps away using the steel gaze with our InCycle interactive system. But just a few steps away is not enough because the nurses work 8 hours a day and we are supposed to make their job easier. So that's why we designed InHand. InHand is a personal device which allows nurses to get all the information they need at the moment right where they are and be able to respond right away to emergencies. It only has 3 buttons, everything else is touchscreen, so it's really easy to use. It has an optical reader for scanning drugs, speakers and mic for calls, hole for the strap. It has a bunch of applications like SMS, alarms, calendar, calculator, pretty much everything a nurse needs. This is a normal round of a nurse with 7 patients. You can see how much they work. This is only 2 hours. They work 8. This is the same round using InHand. It takes the nurse half of the time and almost 80% less of the coming and going. To complete the communication cycle and reinforce our project, we designed the nurse's room, making it a lot more comfortable, implementing a folding multi-use table that we designed and some steel case furniture. So, The improvements with InCycle are remarkable. Nurses will save 50% of the time, which means more quality time with the patient. Less time filling up paperwork, which means more attention to caring. Good communication between nurse, doctor, and patient, which means 0 mistakes. As you see, it's innovation in the way of working. We're changing the worship of the nurse. We went back to the hospitals and asked the nurses, and they loved the project. So designing for the user is the best way to design. Nurses are very careful and joyful, and they love the patients, and they love what they do.